Happy holidays, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Behind the Scenes of the Waltons. Today I'm going to be talking about the episode The Christmas Carol, which aired in season 6. If you're enjoying these, please do like and subscribe, and feel free to share them with anyone who you think will enjoy them. The Christmas Carol is a different sort of Christmas story for the Waltons. Of course, the homecoming started it all, and at that point we were deep in the Depression and hoping that our father would be able to make it home in time to spend Christmas with the family. In A Christmas Carol, we are now on the cusp of war in Europe, and the war is beginning to impact our family and people around the world. In this case, the Baldwin sisters have agreed to take care of 2 young children from England who have been orphaned by the war. The children arrive and are having a lot of difficulty settling in and feeling secure and safe, now so far from home and with people they don't know. The young boy, Pip, was played by Kami Cotler's brother, Jeffrey, and we were very happy to have him. Tess, his sister, was played by actress Sally Boyden. There's a number of different storylines going on with the family. Jim Bob has created some sort of, I believe it's a shortwave radio. Those of you who are more technically savvy than me can correct me on that if that's not what it is. But he's been able to reach a young woman in London and is enjoying talking with her at all hours of the day and night when the time difference works on the other end in London. For Jason, he's struggling with being a soldier and the concept of training and the recognition that he at war would potentially have to kill someone and is really having a difficult time with that, which is very understandable. In response, he thinks he's going to give up his music because he feels there's no place for that in a world at war. Ultimately, he realizes that that is the wrong decision and goes back to creating music, which of course is such an important part of his life and such an important part of our world in general. No matter what's going on, good times, bad times, music really feeds our souls, and it's always important to have music and art in our lives. It makes the difficult times more tolerable, as I think we're all experiencing in this very unusual year. For Erin, she's recently lost GW to training exercises in the military and is having a really hard time thinking of moving on and dating again. And so when she meets a young man that she has some interest in, she completely backs off when she finds out he's actually a soldier. So she has to come to terms with that, which she ultimately does. And by the end of the episode, there's all signs that Erin is ready to move forward. Then there's Mary Ellen. I had some mixed feelings about my storyline in this episode as I looked back on it, because I always felt that Mary Ellen was so strong and independent, and yet she, I found myself saying things like, I miss Curt so much, I can't eat, I can't sleep, and I've got to go there even though it's completely unreasonable, and the poor man is trying to do his job, and she's giving him such a hard time and making it impossible, as if he's making a choice of doing his job over his wife and his son, which I kind of disagreed with that storyline. I'm awfully glad that ultimately they showed Mary Ellen come around and recognize that she was in the wrong, and in fact, sort of admits that that she took it out on him, and what's the point of having a husband if you can't blame him for things. So there was a little bit of redemption there of her saying yes, that she now recognizes that the right thing for her to do is to go home and be with the family and take John Curtis back there and let Curt do what he needs to do. But I still have mixed feelings about the storyline. You weigh in, see what you think of whether you thought this was in character for Mary Ellen or not. And then for Ben, there was a beautiful storyline with him and Verdie. I always loved when Verdie, Lynn Hamilton, did episodes as well. Ben is working with Ike Godsey as part of the civil defense and doing the air raid drills. That was interesting for me because my mom grew up in London during the war, and my grandfather was part of the patrol for the air raids. My mom talked about the air raids and having the blackouts and all of that. And so I was familiar with all of that prior to filming this episode of the Waltons. And my grandfather used to, after the bombings, he would have to go out as part of the patrol looking to see if there were any undetonated bombs, and was very close to some bombs that were dropped. So we were very fortunate to not have any fatalities in the family because of that. But Verdie is looking to raise funds for their church, for the children at their church, and she's making cakes that she's going to sell. She is robbed and loses all of that money, and Ben, in a wonderful moment, takes his own money and replaces the money that Verdie lost and gives it to her. And so they have a very sweet scene where she basically says, I always thought of you as, a young boy, and now you're a very big man, and so I thought that was really beautiful and a nice storyline for Eric. And of course, in typical Walton fashion, we have a happy ending, as through Jim Bob's friend in London, they are able to contact Tess and Pip's mom, and she's going to be able to join them as soon as she's able. And in Tiny Tim fashion, Pip says, "Oh, Mummy, come soon." It's so sweet. And we have snow for Christmas, and there was frost on the windows, and it's just a beautiful episode with a beautiful story and a lovely moment for all of us for this 2020 Christmas season. So I hope you have enjoyed this behind the scenes of the Waltons, the Christmas Carol. I wish you the happiest of holidays with your loved ones, your family, whether they're there with you in person or you are having a virtual holiday celebration. Enjoy each other, enjoy the season, and I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.